Hey everybody, it's Ashley, and I'm back for my weekly show. Today, I was kind of struggling. I had all these different topics, but I was struggling on today's topic because I didn't know what I wanted to talk about. But I wanted to do kind of a, KDP, low content books versus merch, which is right for you. And I think the best I can do is explain why I like KDP versus merch. And I do think, and I'm going to kind of go through the pros, cons. There's pluses and minuses to both. And I think some of it just depends upon which is right, like which works for you, KDP or merch, or a little bit of both. Can you reuse some of what you do for merch onto your books? And yes, you can. I don't think it's quite as effective, but I think you can do it. And maybe if you're more intentional about it, maybe that'll work better. So I do KDP and I do merch. I'll be honest, my merch account makes about $100 a month. That doesn't matter what I do. That's kind of what it makes a month. It's always surprising, I think, for me, what sells. And I think part of that's because I'm not a huge, my t-shirts are plain. I probably said this, but I'm really a plain t-shirt kind of person. So I'm probably not the right target market, which is one of the reasons I gravitate towards merch. Or sorry, I gravitate towards KDP because I like books. All right, so let me see real quick before I start. I got Teresa, I've got Laura, and I've got a few more people, but I don't know because only Laura and Teresa are in the chat. So hi to all. So yeah, KDP versus merch. So what's the pros and cons? Okay, so why I think KDP is better. This, you can definitely have your own opinion, but this is why I think KDP better. At least maybe why I do better on KDP. Okay, what I love about KDP is it's problem solving. You get to solve, and it's such a wide variety of problems you can solve. Whereas I think a t-shirt, it solves the problem of clothing, right? Now, it definitely has an identity and that sort of thing. But I think KDP can solve so many more problems. We have this ingrained nature to learn and to go to books to solve things, which is great. I love books. I had a few more join. Hi, Sledge Painter and Absamat. I tried. All right. So I love problem solving. And like I said, I think t-shirts only solve one problem. So KDP is so much broader. I saw a really cool post today. I don't know if you guys follow with Tangent Templates and Catherine. She's awesome. She's always got great creative ideas. I love how she thinks really outside the box. So if you haven't seen her channel, she's amazing. Catherine Sheldon. Tangent Templates, you can look that up. Oh, thank you. I'm glad I pronounced your name well. But she's great. So one of the things she posted today that I thought was cool was she posted a journal that had she'd seen it at Barnes & Noble or somewhere, and it had a circle with a compass in the middle, and it was a problem-solving journey journal. So it was you could take 10 different paths through this journal and make it your own depending upon what you wanted to work on. And then you could go back and work on one of those. And I thought, what a cool idea to make something that's a journey for a prompt journal versus that. And so it's a t-shirt only kind of solves one problem, whereas you can make a journal solve so many different things. And then even that journal can solve, they had 10 different journeys, could solve 10 different problems for somebody or provide 10 focuses at a certain time. And I thought that was really cool. I also thought you could add some really cool stuff. Hi, Nielsen. Yeah, I know Catherine's creative. So you could solve some really cool stuff. What if you did, at the end of each journey, you did a reward system. So you had a video, maybe you didn't make the video, or maybe it's a motivational video or some sort of reward. You could do something cool at the end. You could have an escape room type journal that way. You could do puzzles or clues or a mystery kind of a prompt journal. I just thought it was a really cool idea. So that's what I love about KDP. You can go there's so many problems you can solve. So I think I love that. Specialization. Now, this is where there's some definitely pros and cons, I think, for merch versus KDP. You can definitely specialize. You can really become, do you want prompt journals? Do you want prompt journals? Do you want planners? Do you want vision planners? There's so many ways to go, and you can really specialize. And that could create more of a barrier to entry, right? So that, I think, is what's really great for KDP. It's more work. It is more effort than merch because it's not just putting a design on a t-shirt. It's creating an interior. It's creating designs. It's creating lots of things, right? And I think that is fabulous and why I like it. Now, on the flip side, right, you can create something that's a plus for merch. You can create something really, really quick and get it out there and test the market. And then it's much of a less risk per design. So if you spend 2 weeks on a book, 3 weeks on a book, and it flops, you've spent 2 to 3 weeks on a book. Whereas maybe that design, you maybe spent 20 minutes, maybe an hour if you're really detail oriented. So there is that. But I think with that time spent, you do a little more research, you find your niche, you specialize, you decide who wants this. And not everything's going to succeed. You might I did some coloring books that, like I said, I did a unicorn coloring book that did really well at the beginning, but it just got overwhelmed by a bunch of people when unicorns flooded the market. And I could have probably spent a bunch in advertising to get up there, but I just didn't want to because that wasn't what I was doing at the time. So you can have something, that goes well or doesn't, and that's okay. You can create a brand. What a great way to promote yourself. I saw a really cool travel journal. It was like Mission Impossible travel journals. And it was like, go on a secret mission in Paris and go on a secret mission in Berlin. And I thought, wow, that would take a while to create something like that. But what a neat idea. So you can definitely create a brand. And you can sell that for more. You can sell those for $9.99, $12.99. You can sell those for more and your profit margin's really good. So profit margins too. So that's kind of a plus on merch. If you sell a $19.99 shirt, you make like $5. Whereas typically journals are like 2 to that 3 mark. I have a few I make 5 on and a few I make 10 on. But those are very, very specialized. But I like that. You can do a very specialized kind of journal and get more. Or they're more on the workbook side than journals. But that's cool too. You can create products that are on that higher end, which is kind of what I've decided to focus on for this year, is that branding and the higher end products. The ability to help others on the outside world. So I have a lot of friends who want to be authors or whatever. I am the go-to person for authors. So like I have friends who are like, oh, you should go see Ashley. She knows how to put your book on Amazon and get it selling. So I've kind of helped a few people and reformatted their books to get them on Amazon. It's a book versus a journal, but I know the skills, right? And I can help someone do that. So that's something I'm actually going to work on this side. So there's other things you can do. So if you can help people on the outside. So what about looking into helping maybe like real estate agent? Actually, I have a note on that. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But you can teach others and you can create a side business off of just helping others. You could teach at your local library, a class for 10 or 20 bucks just to get your name out there, right? So you can definitely do some cool stuff with that. One of the other things I like about KDP that I found, not as much so on merch, but maybe that's because I've discovered the secret of merch, is stickiness. I have a few books that have been selling really well for like 4 years now. I have one t-shirt that sells like 2 a week. No, maybe 1 a week. It's like 1 to 2 a week. It's like 1 to 2 a week. And that's been selling for like 2 years, but none of my other stuff is that consistent. Whereas I have quite a few books that are very consistent that are older. And I find that the older the books get, they just have a stickiness and they're very consistent sellers. And I really like that. And I think that has to do with a few things. It has to do with that problem solving, right? If you're doing a good job of solving somebody's problem, you're going to get linked in for those keywords because people are buying it. So Amazon knows, hey, if someone puts in these keywords, they are likely to buy this product. So that's good. You tend to get good reviews. If you do a good job on your interiors, I think I'm more likely to review a book or a workbook than I ever would be for a t-shirt, right? So I think you just are more likely to get reviews. And I think that helps with that stickiness. So some of my stuff that does really well does have reviews. And it's usually like, oh, I really like the inside. And they'll take a picture, of the inside. Because I did spend a lot of time on some of my interiors, which I really like. Because I like solving people's problems. I love to learn. And I'm one of those geeky people. So I think that helps. So if you do a good job, you're going to get that. I also think the lower price point, I think that $6.99 point, like you don't even think about buying it and it's $2. Whereas a t-shirt, you're like, I can go to Walmart and get like a t-shirt, maybe not that exact t-shirt, which is, I guess, the point of merch. If you're very specialized, you can't just buy it at Walmart. But I have to admit, I'm cheap. So I buy the $10 shirt at Walmart. I got a sweatshirt the other day for my daughter, and it was like $10. A sweatshirt on Amazon is like $30. So I'll admit it, like I'm cheap. So I think the journals, though you could buy, a $3 journal at Walmart, it's not maybe as specialized, and they go through products, like there's stuff that may not be there. Like if you want a planner at a weird time, they may not have it. So buying it on Amazon, and it's just not a big of a price difference. A $10 sweatshirt versus a $30 sweatshirt, that's $20. That's a huge amount of money. Whereas, I can buy it on Amazon. It's $2 more and I don't have to go to the store. And my kid loves it, right? That's easier. Oh, yes. So real estate agents, Teresa, I wanted to talk about that. So that's my next one. So this is what I'm going to call this. I literally woke up at 5 a.m. with this idea. I don't know if it's a good idea or not. We're going to see. So it's called passive income partnering. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I joined this women's business group because one of my goals, like I said, is to be more social this year. I am a social person, but I kind of got stuck being at home with my kids, and so getting out there is scary. So that's why this YouTube channel. So I joined a women's group. And what I found out is I have an amazing amount of weird skills that these people need. Like they're like saying, I have this problem. Like you can make a book for that, or you could make a workbook, or you could do this. So like real estate agents, right? What about branded real estate? Like you talk to someone who is a real estate agent and say, hey, let's make you a branded workbook that you can hand out. And they can either buy them. I don't know how you work it, but either, I actually saw somebody who was doing this. They're making like branded books for them, and I guess they just buy them. They put them probably pretty low, like $4.99, and then the real estate agent just buys them to hand out to their clients. So that's kind of neat. You could do that, and then you could create a passive income stream for yourself, and you just volunteer to create it for them for free, right? So that's why I'm calling it passive income partnering. But it's kind of nice because you can create something for them for free that they would have to pay somebody to do. And do something just that they want, and they could just purchase it over and over again. And it's kind of a nice thing for you. Maybe you only make 30, 40 cents a sale, but if you can consistently add a few, 5, 10 of these people, and how hard is it to create a notebook with their brand, their picture, and, super easy, right? You can find so many opportunities with real estate agents because they're always trying to do some really cool stuff for their clients. Who've purchased a house. I mean, I purchased my house and they made a good commission. So, giving me a $4 book might be more interesting than the calendar that I get. So maybe shopping or what about a book with house selling tips or house buying tips or how to organize yourself? Military, I move all the time. I have so many weird tips and tricks on how to box things and I still lose things. You always lose things. But you can use your specialties and help someone. Okay, so there's my real estate agent idea. What about people who do wellness? So maybe someone who does wellness or different things, you could create journals for them. You could do branded ones, but you could also think more broad and do less branded ones, like something that would appeal to a general buyer and not just their buyer. They could put it on their website, and you could even offer that you'll create it, or you could charge them to create it. But I like the idea, at least when I'm starting, to say, I'll create it for free. You put it on your website and we'll split the profits like 40-60 or something. And you could just, pay them once a month. Or you could just, offer to do it for free. I think if you have some incentive for them to get some money too for making them passive income, that's nice. And the nice thing about that, here's what you can tell them, is if they can get just even a few people to click from their website to Amazon, there's two benefits. One, it boosts your product because you're bringing traffic from outside of Amazon to Amazon. They could do an affiliate link, right? So they can make an extra few % off that. And also, here's what's really cool. So this was the coolest thing I figured out when I started to do, I did a workbook to promote my business. I consult for college consulting. I help kids write college essays and stuff like that. Anyway, so I created a workbook to do that, and I linked that workbook on my website. I suddenly got a ton more referrals from Google. So if Google finds like what they call a valid or a higher order link like Amazon, they consider that a higher order link, and you get some BSR going on Amazon, then Google considers it a higher order link for those keywords. And so I started getting a lot more free traffic from Google to my website because my book connected to Amazon. So that's something for them that they may not know, that having that higher order link to a book that gets some sales on Amazon, it's like good for both, because Amazon's happy to get outside traffic, and then Google's happy because it's a valid link and it boosts the ratings of their website. So there's some cool stuff you can do with that. Okay, so let me look at some of my comments here. I have a security thing blocking it. Norton's telling me, I don't know what it's telling me. My daughter's a real estate agent. I'm interested in making something for first-time home buyers that she could give to her clients to show homes to you, like checklist, moving. Yes, perfect. Here's a random tip for that, just so you know, moving all the time, right? And then you sort of find your parts. So what I always suggest to people is go around as they're taking apart things and stick baggies, so Ziploc baggies, and then you tape the Ziploc baggie to like the furniture, or you can actually, I just collected them all myself and took them rather than them packing the parts box. So I would have all the parts labeled in a bag and they wouldn't just be dumped in a box. So sorry, that's a random tip. Laura, there's a lot of awesome opportunities out there. I'm really trying to think. So as I go through this journey of helping other people discover what they could do, like I was even thinking, okay, World War II, I met a World War II author. He does historical fiction on World War II. And I was even thinking, wouldn't it be cool to do some facts, and you could do like a workbook or something for them that they wouldn't have to write it, but they could either hand out to people, or you can make a handout for their website, or you can make a journal for them. And, there's a lot of things that they may not want to do that could create passive income for them and you as well. So you just got to kind of start thinking about it. Okay, so yes. And so, yes, for a real estate agent, they could definitely write these off as a business expense. So I think it's a great idea, because I get so many calendars that's something different, like a shopping checklist or a home buyer checklist, or just something different would be so much better than just another calendar. I think I have 4 calendars under my desk right now from past real estate agents. Whereas if I had 4 notebooks, I'd be using those all the time. But I only need 1 calendar, maybe 2. So my daughter's specializing in military loans for veteran active service clients, and she serves in National Guard. That's a cool deal. Military loans are good. We need them because you're always picking up and moving. So I was excited. We were going to only be here in Virginia for 1 year, but we're going to be here for maybe 3 years. We're at the point, I think we're on, 15, 16 moves in 20 years. So yeah, it's a great life, but it's a rough life too. There's good and bad. So anyway, but that's one of the things, I love about KDP or merch, right? You can travel with it. I can pick my laptop up and I can do it in here or Virginia or Mississippi or wherever the Air Force takes us next. Any questions? Does anyone like any of those ideas? I kind of started brainstorming, and I'm really excited. Yep, home maintenance logbooks. You can do all sorts of, you can even do a combination of those things, right? You can create a book that they have all their mortgage data, maintenance, notes, moving checklists for next time if they ever have to move again, or things to remember. You could do you can make one workbook, and then you could hand out, they could put like some of those pages on their website and get free, right? So there's some cool things you can definitely do. Yes, it is a picture of George Washington. It's him doing his address before he's talking to his troops before the Delaware. So Delaware River, right? For that famous battle in December, I think it was on December 24th. So they sell it over at I live by the historic triangle, Williamsburg, Yorktown, all that. So they sell it over there. But I loved it because George Washington was a fantastic leader. He is a hero of mine. He's like anybody. He's flawed, and everyone's, he has flaws like anybody. But gosh, he really cared about this country, and he really cared about his troops. And that's something, since I'm in the military, I always keep close to my heart. You've got to care about the people you lead, because if you don't, I don't even know. I can't even describe. Leaders just aren't true or genuine if you don't care about the people you lead or care about the people you're helping. And he cared. He really did. Oh, it's December 25th. Okay, I couldn't remember if it was Christmas Eve or Christmas. So, let's see, what else? My random Johnson, George Washington. Yep, he's a great president. There's a great, okay, this is random. There was a great, was it History Channel? George Washington. It was like a 3-part miniseries. It was fabulous. It really was. I have to admit, I learned a lot about him. He was like any, 17, 18-year-old, 19-year-old kid who did some stupid things, but I mean, don't we all? And so he grew into a great man. So you can always think that wherever you are, you can grow into something better. So that's kind of nice that, our people we admire didn't start perfect. So that was kind of, I thought, inspirational. It's all about where you end up, right? Not where you start. Anything else? So I thought about, I guess other thing I wanted to say, experience. So I think with KDP, and as you do research and get more experience, I think you get a better understanding of your market and your audience, and that better understanding leads to better sales. And there's so many more places you can take KDP than merch with a shirt. Like if you become, let's say, real estate agents, just like we were talking about, if you come really good, not with just helping real estate agents on the outside, and maybe that's a great way to start. Who doesn't know a real estate agent? Like there's somebody out there that you can offer your services to help for free, that you can really start to understand the market, and then you can create a ton of stuff that on like unbranded, not with that agent, but with that experience you gain from them, you can create a ton of stuff that would really be specialized and would probably sell really well. And you understand your market so much better, so you can use the right keywords. You can get a little more interested. And I like the idea of working with someone so you can kind of get some guaranteed sales, and then doing something. And if you do it for free, you can definitely charge. But if you do it for free, you can definitely gain that experience for cheap. And you can probably get a lot more people interested, at least to start, so that you can become better at it. And so that's kind of what my thoughts are. So anything else? Any questions? Any other ideas? I saw a few others. People were talking about home maintenance logs, emergency important numbers. There's some great ideas you can do with this sort of thing. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. So merch, KDP, it's your choice. Like I said, I do merch a little bit, but I'm not as successful. And I think it's because I really like solving problems. And I'll admit that. I like solving problems. Can you delete books from KDP? No and yes. Yes, you can delete them, but they will stay there forever. Because once it gets an ISBN, even if it's an Amazon assigned ISBN, it's kind of like public record. But what happens is if you delete all the keywords, you delete it, it kind of just gets lost. I mean, there's billions probably of books on Amazon. It just gets lost after a while. So yes, you can delete it so that they won't sell it ever again, but it still will always exist there electronically. But it can be very hard to find. Like if nobody's searching for a planner for 2019, it just, it's there, but if you delete it or not, it's still there, but doesn't do anything. I heard you can update with a stripped down cover. And if you say you can't change the title. So maybe be careful if you're thinking it's something branded and they want to pull it off. Maybe be careful with how you title it. And you can't change the title and subtitle, but you could just blank it down to the title on a black, instead of someone's face or something. You could definitely blank it out so that it would be nothing interesting on the cover. So that's a really great idea. I hadn't thought about that, but yeah, that's a great idea. Sledge Painter. If I lower my bid prices for ads and keywords, I don't get the impressions, but the I totally ignore the suggested bid prices. They're too high. It's true. You don't get as many impressions, but you start to figure, that's where creativity comes about. Start targeting other coloring books, like that specific title of coloring books within your niche. Maybe not you can try the number one, but those are going to be probably higher keywords. But what that does is it will get you on the page when they open up the product page. That will get you specifically on their product page. And that's going to be cheaper than in the search. And that's a fantastic way to start, because once you get on their on that product page, you can also start to get what also bots. So some of my most successful books, I group together in ads so that they show up on each other's page so that I get also bots. So some of my other books show up on my own pages. Does that make sense? So that I can increase my visibility by those also bots. So you've got to be a little more creative when you're starting out if you don't want to spend a ton in advertising. Yeah, you can make a small title. That's a good idea too. I want to delete them so I can re-enlist them with a different and relist them. You can just change the interior, right? If your title's not going to change, you can delete the interior, put up a new one. There's no reason not. Yes, Sledge Painter, you can do keywords of Jade Summer. Hers might be higher, but maybe try a specific title, right? So instead, you can try Jade Summer, because I think it's worth a try. But maybe a specific, like Jade Summer, and whatever niche yours is in, maybe the general niche, like animals or whatever. So try something like that. Be a little more creative, because when you're first starting out, your advertising dollars are precious and you want to use them in the right way for you. So you've just got to be a little more creative. Which software do you use to design your KDP? I use PowerPoint, and I've used Canva. I've used BookBolt's interiors. And the cover designer. I've tried Word. Word's awful. Don't use Word. That was horrible. PowerPoint works good because of the layers and set paging, but Word's awful. But I use PowerPoint because I'm very familiar with PowerPoint. And you can try Affinity Publisher, you can try all those others, but for anything I'm going to do, honestly, PowerPoint works fabulous. I do have to take stuff off, and I use paint.net, which is like a souped up version of Paint. Yes, I know. It's free though. And I use paint.net, and then I can edit some things. Like if I want to take the color out of something, and then I take the color out, and then if I want it to be a coloring page, I can pull the color out on paint.net and then copy paste it, drop it back into PowerPoint as a layer. And I've been really successful, good DPI as far as the pictures come out very clear. So I haven't had a problem with that. But I use PowerPoint. I tried everything, but I finally decided on PowerPoint because it does exactly what I want. I know how to use it really well. And I have not found anything I can't do with it. I might have to take stuff off, but I think with Affinity Publisher or some of those other things, you'd have to take it off to Photoshop or GIMP or, some other stuff. But I can save things as PDFs in high quality resolution. I can save individual slides. I can do a lot of stuff on PowerPoint that I like. That's why I like PowerPoint. What is difficult PowerPoint is the margins. Okay, yes, I figured out, yes, I agree, Laura. It was difficult at first, but then once I understood the margins and how to set them up, I find that PowerPoint is really easy for me, and actually much easier than for centering and for everything. Maybe I should make a demo of how I do a template. Now, I'll admit, I use tangent templates to find my interior because I put in there, but I kind of have some standard ones like 100 pages, 120 pages, and 110 pages. So I've actually memorized all the margins, so I can just drop in my margins and grid lines without even looking those up. But some of the weird ones, like I think I did a book the other day that had 113 pages. But usually what I do is I'll just add some notes pages till it gets to 110. I'm like, might as well, right? I know those margins. I don't have to think that hard about it. So I'll just add in some note pages on the end just to make it 110 pages. But yeah, I can do a demo. I don't know how to, actually, I do know how to take a video of my screen. I learned that the other day. But yeah, I'll do a demo and show you how I do it. I do it super, super simple. And it takes me maybe 2 minutes to set it up. So it's super simple. I make it really easy because I like super simple. And then what's nice about PowerPoint is you can save a template. So that's what I started doing. I started creating 110 and 120 and 100 page templates. So you save it on as a template, a PowerPoint template, and then you just open it up and then you save it as a new PowerPoint file. But it has all the grid lines and the spine and in there. So it's labeled, I did it the other day, it's labeled 110 page interior template. Like I'm not that original. Margins. Yeah, margins. I admit this was the thing that the margins, the power, like the grids and how do you center things, that really, it was hard. And so I really spent some time like literally digging into it. Like I said, Tangent Templates, Isaac, he's Catherine and Isaac's his husband, or Catherine's husband. He had, I think he had a demo somewhere about describing what the margins and bleed and all that meant. And for some reason, how he said it clicked with me. And I went, oh, I get it now. So once I got it, I really liked PowerPoint because I can set things and I can make templates. So that's been really nice. And you can use macros. You can write macros on PowerPoint, which is just code to do repetitive tasks. I'm not a great coder, but I can code. So it depends if it's worthwhile and I'm annoyed by the process. So yeah, I will try and create a demo. It literally doesn't take me very long. But something I could do one for like 110 and 100, maybe 120. Those are really common files. And like I said, if you don't have that many pages, you can just add some note pages on the end. And ta-da, you got 110 pages. Why make it hard on yourself, right? You just use a template you already have. And you give the customer a little extra value by adding a few extra pages. And it's not going to cost you a whole lot of 5 or 6 pages to a notebook. So, you'll lose a cent or two. All right. Anything else? Hopefully, I will put that on my list somewhere. I'm going to write it down. PowerPoint grid line demo or something like that. And I'll figure out how to do that. All right. There's nothing else. I will see you all next week. Okay. And send your questions. I have my form. So I didn't actually add it to this one. I'll have to add it. Send your questions to the form or show up live, and yeah, that's it. Or I've been replying to people on the comments here on the videos too. All right. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye.